Okay, so can one of you confirm he could hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So we'll get started here. And let's see here. So we missed one class, but any questions so far? And I think some of you were trying to create an extended partition. I didn't go over it, but since so many of you are trying it, I'll just go over it, okay? I have the recording on, so. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one partition here, and then we'll see how things are going to play out, okay? So, not the partition, I'm sorry, the another hard drive here. So I think I have to shut it down. Okay, so let's see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another disk here, about 16 GB, and then I'm going to give it a name. Okay, so let's take a look at SDE. It's a blank disk about 16 GB, right? So what's going to happen is, can everybody go on mute, please? Okay, thank you. Okay, so what's going to happen is a physical disk, you could, how many partitions you could have on it? You could have most partitions you could have is four partitions. Okay, four primary partitions. Okay, so what what is extended partition? Extended partition, what will happen is the most a disk could have is four partitions on it. Okay, whether it's be a primary or not, the partitions, if you have more than four partitions, it's not going to create anything more than four partitions here. Okay, why is that? Because that's how the system is set up here. So you could create a slash dev slash sde1 slash dev slash dev sde2 and then slash dev sde3 and slash dev sde4. Okay, so but if you okay, so what if you want to have more than four partitions? Okay, if you need more than four partitions, then you need to create extended partitions. Okay, so how how are we gonna do this here? Okay, so I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this. Okay, all right, good. So let's go ahead and create first three partitions here: SDE1, 2, and 3. So how am I gonna do that? fdisk slash dev slash SDE1 SDE, and I hit enter, and then I create P to make sure there are no partitions in there, and then I'm going to create N for new partitions, and then it's asking me if I want to create a primary or extended. So I'm going to give P and hit enter, and then the partition number is going to automatically take 1, and I hit enter. The cylinders is that much, and then I'm going to give you plus 2 GB plus 2G. Okay, and then if I go do P and I see one partition is created and it's 2 gigabyte in size. Okay, so I'm going to create new, I'm going to create primary, and then I'm going to create partition. If I push partition 1, it's already been taken, so I cannot do partition 1 again. N primary partition, then I have to go to number 2, and then I hit the default cylinders, and then I would do plus 2G, okay, and then I do P. All right. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know, okay? Okay, good. So this is 2 GB, 2 GB. Okay, and this is going to be 2 GB, and this is going to be 2 GB. Okay, all right, so what's going to happen here? Let me create another partition of 2 GB, new primary partition, and then number 1 and 2 is taken, so I have to go through number 3 and hit enter, and I hit enter here again, and I'm going to do plus 2 GB, hit enter, and I do P. Okay, so I'm going to write an exit, and I type LSBLK. So in SDE, I have 3 partitions here, primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, and all these are 2 GB. Okay, so but I want to have like more than 4 partitions here. So what do I want to do? So rest of the SDE4 is going to be out of 16 GB, we use 6 GB. So 10 GB is SDE4. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to create a new partition here. Let me first check how many partitions I have. I have 3 partitions. I'm going to create new, and then this time around, since this is, you could definitely create 4 partitions here. Okay, at this point, if you create a partition of 2 GB and it's the 4th partition, you cannot create more than 4 partitions, more than 4 primary partitions. Okay, so
Zafar, is this limit of version 6, or this is generic that we cannot create more than 4 primary partitions?
this is how it is throughout the industry.
Okay.
And what you have to do is then 4 partitions you could do it, then that you are stuck there. So if you have like a huge drive and you want more than 4 partitions, then you would end up using an extended partition. So I'll show you how. I was kind of going to skip on this, but somebody tried to create extended partition, so I thought I should just show this to you. Because in real world scenario, you're not going to be using extended partition as much as compared to LVM. But since the topic came up in the chat, I'm going to make sure everybody knows how the extended partition works. Okay, so you cannot create more than 4 partitions. Okay, so if you need more than 4 partition, then you need to create an extended partition here. So I'm going to use E and hit enter, and I'm going to use default. And then now I have 10 GB available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hit enter. So it's going to use, if you don't specify, it's going to use rest of the available space. And I hit enter, and I'm going to P. And you see here, you see SDE4, and then the size is 10 gigabytes, and then the ID is 5, and it's an extended partition. Okay, the default ID for the primary partition is Linux and SDE I'm sorry, the ID is 83, okay? I'm going to write an exit. Okay, so if I type lsblk, okay, so what is happening here is you see SDE and all that, and then you're surprised here that SDE4 is only 1 kilobyte. So what is actually has happened here is SDE4 is actually a bucket here. It's just a bucket information. You won't be able to format or do anything with it. If you do mkfs.ext4 and then do dev/sde4, okay, and hit enter, it says inode size icon too big for a file system with 0 block. So file specifies, so it's giving you an error because you cannot really make a file system of an extended file partition because it's only a concept. Okay, so what will happen here is SDE4. This is a bucket. Okay, and it's only logical. Okay, now let's just keep it this way. Okay, so what's going to happen here is you have to create partitions within SDE4. SDE4 itself is not usable. The next number in line would be SDE5. Okay, so let me see how's that going to work. Okay, you type fdisk/dev/SDE4 and hit enter, and then you do P. Okay, there's nothing in there, and then you do M. Okay, what you have options here is you could create a new partition. Okay, so I'm going to create new, and then you know what, actually no, you do as dev/SDE4. I'm sorry, you go directly to SDE. Okay, and then you go N. Okay, so you're creating a new partition, and on the first cylinder, if you look up here, the first cylinder is starting 872.208 2088. Okay, let's go up here and take a look here. Okay, so it's automatically reading in here. The start of the cylinder is in here, so it's starting from here because it's part of a extended partition. Okay, let me just hit enter there, and now you could give the size here. So I'm going to create plus 4G and hit enter, and I do P. So SDE5 is there. Okay, so let me create new. Okay, and then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, and then I'm going to hit enter again. So you have to notice here 1309 is the end of this partition, and then 1310 starts from there. Okay, 1310 where it ends, the new one starts from the new block, and then I'm going to use the entire disk space here. Okay, enter. IUP. So SDE5 is 4 GB and SDE6 is 6 GB here. Okay, I'm going to write an exit. I do lsblk. So Notice here, SDE4 is an extended partition. It's a bucket. And then SDE5 and SDE6 is inside SDE4. So what we are tricking here is we are tricking the system that it has only 4 partitions here. But the fourth partition has SDE5. Right. In this scenario, you could have two partitions, but you're free to create how many ever you want. Okay. All right. So let me just split this.
So, but Zafar, that means that we cannot delete the extended partition as long as we delete the 5, 6.
Exactly.
Can we try that?
What will happen? What will happen if you delete SDE4?
It should not let us delete if there's any integrity in place.
Remember, you have a password. It will let you. I mean, you are a root login. It will let you.
No, it's not a security issue. There should be a built-in integrity that system 2 partitions are built on a extended partition. So unless those are deleted, system should not let allow. It has nothing to do with access.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll check it out.
Okay.
And this is 4 GB. Okay, all right. Let me. So all these are different partitions. Okay, and this one is another partition. And this one is another partition here. Okay, so we have 4, 5, 6. We have 6 partitions here. Okay, but partition 5 and 6 are the child partition for SDE4. Okay, it's a bucket. We created a bucket and we're creating more here. But so SDE4 is not usable. Okay, SDE4 is not usable. Okay, so let's see if you could create a file system on this one here. Okay, SDE5. Okay, so we are able to create a file system in SDE5 and SDE6. Okay. Okay, so you could create the file system and you could mount it to. Okay. Okay, so extended partitions. Okay. So let's do. So let's play a trick here. What will happen if I delete SDE4? Okay. Let's take a look here. fd/dev/SDE4. Okay, and then let me see what partitions I have. N. So SDE4 is only 1 kilobyte. If you look at up here when we do LSBLK, it's only 1 kilobyte here. Okay, so I do what is delete D, right? So D, enter, and then it's asking me the partition number, 1 through 6 here. So you could delete any partition number here, but I'm curious. If I delete number 4, what will happen here? Okay, so if I print the partition information, what do you expect to see? Okay, so once you delete this, the partition 5 and 6 are gone too. Okay, so you got to be very, very careful. Put it down on a piece of paper how things are working. If I write an exit, 3 partitions are gone at this moment. Partition SDE4, which is extended, SDE5 and SDE6. They are gone, and you will be at risk of losing the data. But don't worry too much about it. You're not going to see anything about, you're not going to be using this skewed type of file system here. You will be using LVM. If you master LVM, then you're pretty good. You're all set for the rest of your life, because these are very, very highly uh, employable skills you're going to get. Okay, so actually, at my work this week, we have a root VG, which they are using only. I'm not going to delete it here. Okay, I'm going to quit. Okay, if I go back in there, all the partitions are still there because I didn't write an exit. Okay. All right. So here's the trick. Uh, so we got a request. Something happened and they screwed up before they installed the operating system here. Now what they want is they want SDA. Uh, in this scenario here, the size of SDA is only 14 GB. They want it to set to 50 GB. Okay, so what we are doing at work right now is we are taking a backup of the entire system here. So in your environment, most likely everything you'll be using is going to be on VMware or AWS. So you don't have to worry about too much about the VMware part. All you have to do is send a request to VMware team to make sure it's backed up, and it's in the ticket that they make a note in the ticket that it's been backed up. Then what you need to do is they wanted the boot size. It's set to like 16, 9. In my scenario, it's set to about 50 GB, but they wanted to set it to 500 GB. So we extended the size in VMware to 14. In this scenario here, they have 50 GB. We move it to 500 GB. Then we need to extend the partition here. So what I'm going to follow next week is I'm going to follow this principle here. Okay, extending the partition. Create a swap using LVM. I'm going to follow this procedure here. Everything is backed up and everything. Not this one. This is for extending the LVM, okay? Extending the physical partitions is over here. Okay, I'm going to follow this procedure here, okay? So if you do mkfs and the file system is going to delete the data. So I'm going to I'm going to create a new partition, and then no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use fdisk command and then extend the partition. Okay, in this scenario, we just showing demo the create first and then extend later. So I'm going to run this command. Then afterwards, I'm going to extend the partition, and then I'm going to use this command here, okay? And then remount it. So actually, I'm working as a team here, because even though you know everything end all and be all, but you still need to work as a team. Make sure more than one people are handling that ticket, okay? That's how things work, okay? Good. Any questions so far? Okay, no questions. Good. All right, let's see what else. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to formally introduce the dd command. Okay, so what is a dd command? Dd command is you use it to make a disk duplicate. That's what it stands for. But I think the official mm, the official is I think it's carbon copy. Let's Google it. Or you could do man dd. Okay, dd convert and copy. So it stands for cc, convert and copy, but the c was already taken, so they didn't have any option but to use dd command. Okay, so what is the dd command? Okay, let's see here. What is the use of dd command? Dd command is a utility. Its primary purpose is to convert and copy. Okay. So in other words, what dd command does is it makes a replica, exact replica of a disk. Okay, so let's see here. I have this is 8 GB and this is SDB, SDC. Okay, let me get out of this here. I'm gonna bring up another system. Okay, I'm setting the size to 2 GB so that the command goes through faster, okay? What is it saying? The disk unit SDB already exists. Okay, so I have in here 2 drives in here. So I'm gonna demo how this is gonna we're gonna use a one disk and have some data on it, and then create an exact replica of the DD1 to DD2. Okay, using the DD command. Let's do it. Can somebody tell me what am I doing at this moment?
You're changing the run level so it
Yeah,
can
yeah,
change the
very good.
boot system.
Okay, so for the DD command to work, for to replicate the entire disk, it has to be the same size or it has to be a bigger in size. Okay, it's using 106. Okay, I'm gonna log in as root and then the password and then do lsblk. So we have SDB and SDC. Okay, so let me quickly create some partitions here. fdisk/dev/sdb and hit enter. And then I'm going to create new, and I'm going to create primary, and then I'm going to create partition number 1, and then cylinders are default. I'm going to use plus 500 M. What is this? What is the 500 M is going to do? It will create a file system which is a size of 500 megabytes. Okay, so if you do G, okay, I'll show you. I do N, I do primary, and I do the partition number is going to be 2. Hit default. Over here, you could choose the size. Either K is in kilobytes, um, M is in megabytes, G is in gigabytes. Okay, so most of the time you would end up using either M or G. and I'm using M right now so that to demo how this is going to work here. And then the second disk, I'm going to use the default here, is going to use the rest of the space, which is going to be 1.5 GB. Okay, I'm going to write an exit. I do lsblk. Okay, so SDB has two partitions. Partition 1 is 500 megabytes, and partition 2 is about 1.5 gigabytes here. Okay, so let's format them. mkfs.ext4 dev/sdb1. Okay, let's have some fun here. mkfs xfs. You guys remember xfs? Right, it's another file system here. I talked about this.
Yep.
mkfs xfs doesn't work.
You have to install it.
I guess you have to have 7.
Very good, very good. You guys are really doing it, man. By the way, whoever is interested, I talked to the Apple recruiter, and don't worry about not going to North Carolina. I have set up there. You could just go there and then most likely do it on contract, and then you could just save a lot of money, and you could shuttle back and forth once a month or every week if you want. But you have to, if you need my help, you have to help me to help you. Okay, so send me those documents, and then set up a time with me when you want to sit down and then work one-on-one. Then we'll get this going by end of this month. Okay. All right. Don't lose this opportunity, guys. It's very. The market keep getting harder and harder. I was really surprised in summer. Maybe it will cool down a little bit, but since the start of the year, I'm not even kidding here. I'm getting at least 10 calls every week and 2 interviews every week. Even though I don't need to take up a job, I'm doing the interviews just to see how things are out there. Okay, this is how you're going to be doing. Once you land a job, don't just sit back and relax. You have to be proactive and then keeping your resume up to date and try taking interviews so that you know what is going on in the industry and what skills they are looking for. Okay, so but as long as you have a Linux as a strong background and all these things you practice, then you should be ready to go. And I know some of you are already ready. I think you don't need to know a lot of other stuff I'm going to cover, but some companies, all they're looking for is somebody who has some Linux experience. Then they will train you on the job, the other stuff. And by the way, even if I land a new job, that doesn't mean I know everything here. I have to go in there and spend 3 to 6 months just to learn the job, no matter who you are, because the environment is different, diverse, and the things they do internally are totally different from the things they do with a different company. And if you're going to a financial company, there are a lot of regulations, so you actually learn a lot if you end up working for a bank or an insurance company. So, okay, so keep those things in mind. So let's see here. Yum install XFS. Okay, so what do you do? Yum provides XFS. So what it's going to do is it's going to go on to the internet, and then so I'm not connected to the internet here. How am I going to connect? It's simple. You go into settings here, you go into network, and then you have to enable NAT. Unit 0. NAT stands for Network Attached Translation. Okay, all you have to do is that, and don't worry about anything else. By the way, you guys are aware, right? You could install Windows on it, VirtualBox too. So I tried to install it, but I didn't pay attention if it got really installed or not. You could literally install Windows and any other operating system here. Let's see what else you could do. You could do Solaris, BDS, OS2, Mac, and other. The only thing you cannot do is HPUX and AIX. Don't even worry about those. Those are different animals, but I'm just telling you, you could do that on your own. Okay. So what you do is you go here and yeah, just use this here, copy and paste.
Seems like an internet issue, so right?
Yeah. Didn't I enable the NAT?
I told you did.
This one here, right? Maybe it's this.
It should be allow all.
Okay. All right, thank you. For the NAT, it's allow all is there. Give me 1 second. Hmm. Let me restart it.
No, this is how I have a setup. The first adapter is NAT, and the second one is different.
Is this matching?
Mm, no,
Okay.
one second.
I think I have that.
The first adapter is NAT, and the second adapter is the host-only adapter.
Okay, that's what I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Host only adapter is good.
Yeah, host-only adapter. Yeah, that's the second one.
It's not getting the
Yeah, it's not getting the IP.
yeah. So what do I have to do? cd/etc/sysconfig. Okay, IFCFG0203. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not working here, but I think this one works.
So Zafar bhai, instead of if you go to the network setting back,
Oh, okay, here. Let's try it now.
Yeah, that's how I have a setup. NAT first, and then the host-only and second one.
Hmm. But that shouldn't matter though. Restart. Okay, now there is a IP here. So if I do ping, just do this here. Okay. mkfs dot xfs dev slash sd. What was it? sdb2.
SDB2.
Thank you. Okay, so SDB2 is XFS and SDB1 is ext4. Okay, let's clear this. And if so, I'm gonna use the command to make a replica of this disk here. So what is the command? The command I use is dd input. IF stands for input file. And what is the input file? Dev slash sdb. And where are we going to output? OF stands for output file. And then what we're going to do? Dev as sdc. Okay. Before that, let me create some data on here. Yeah, I have to mount it. Okay, there is a blank default folder mnt. I think I talked about this, so you could mount if you want to do a quick and easy way to just to mount it for a few minutes, you could do that. And then a cdmnt, and then I'm going to create a file here. So I'm going to create about 1,000 files in here. So I have about 1,000 files here. And then I'm going to mount SDB2 to MNT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one single large file here. So you could also use dd command to create a single large file here. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me find the command. Okay, so I can't find in my notes here. So what you do is you Google it. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so let's see here. I'm not finding what I'm looking for. Okay, this one here. So what it's here is we are using a input file /dev/0. This is something which is built in. And we also learned about this /dev/null, right? /dev/null is what? It's just like a black hole. It just goes and discards the data here. So the output file here, the name we're going to give is, the name of the output file I'm going to give is Zafar1. Okay, you could also give the location where you want to create it. If you don't give the location, it's going to create wherever you are. Okay, how many we're going to create? One, and the byte size is 1 megabyte. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 500 megabytes, and I hit enter. So what it's going to do here is it's going to create a file name Zafar, which is 500 megabytes. This is only I'm showing so that, yeah, this is this is only for demo purposes, that when I use the real dd command, is going to copy everything on the disk here. Okay, so I get out of this, I do lsblk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the replica of sdb to sdc. Okay, so what is the command? dd input file equals the source sdb dev/sdb and output file. And where are we going to write output file to? As dev sdc. Okay, so let's hit enter here. What it should do is when we type lsblk, this should be the replica here.
But shouldn't we give the partition name instead of disk name? Because disk may have multiple partitions, so
That's what I was trying to get you.
okay.
You spoiled it. It's going to copy all the partitions too.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good. Hmm. By the way, there are a lot of things you could do with the dd command, but this is the main thing you're going to do. And okay, so it says it's completed. So I'll do lsblk. Okay, so what you should see is the SDC. Did we use SDC? Okay, so let's do lsblk or fdisk. Okay, you should see these partitions here. So I'm gonna quit, and so when we do lsblk, it's not showing in here. So what is the command we're gonna use to see the partitions if it's not showing? PARTX/dev/SDC. Now do lsblk, and let me do part probe. Okay, there you go. I don't think I talked about part probe, did I?
I don't think so. We talked about part X, but not part Pro.
Yeah, we didn't talk about part probe here. Okay, part probe is just probing. It's just refreshing. You know how in Windows you go into disk management here? You go into manage in Windows. This part probe, you don't have to type this here. It could be anything. A part probe is going to refresh everything in the system here. But I know I'm looking for SDC, so that's why I used part probe/SDC.
So, Zafar, what we're saying that we use dd command to copy SDB that had two partitions, and
It's an exact replica.
it did exact replica, but we were not able to see those partitions. But partitions were there, right?
Partitions is already there. Part probe is just refreshes it.
Okay.
Like here, I brought up Windows here. Sometimes you added a hard drive in here. In Windows,
Okay.
I think if you add a physical hard drive, you have to restart the system here, but not here. So what you do is, if I add another drive in here, you go into Action and you refresh it. So it scans the drive in here. But if you are into the device manager, and if you have added like a USB or something of another hardware, and it doesn't show up in here, so you have to go in here and scan for hardware changes. That's what it's doing here, is it's scanning for new hardware.
So part probe is basically just scanning for.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. That's what it is. Okay. All right, let's check it out here. We have a big file here in SDC, right? So let's mount it. Mount / let's see if it's mounted already. So let's do umount /mnt. Okay, and then what you do is mount dev sdc2 to mnt. Okay, so you do cdmnt, and our file Zafar is there. And this command is heavily used by police. If they are investigating somebody, they take their computer away. First thing they're going to do is they're going to use this command to copy the data on the disk. So what is the reason they're not using something which is very good, but they're using something which is simple as dd command? Because dd command is I think it goes through each and every bytes on the drive and make an exact replica. If the byte has errors on it, if the disk has errors on it, it's going to copy over the errors too. Let's see here.
So what if the person is using Windows?
It will copy Windows too. That's your assignment, everybody. It will copy, it will replicate Windows too. This is what happened here. When you copying over the Windows, they attach the disk to the Linux system. Okay, this is where Windows fails, and this is where Linux comes in. So even though it's a Windows file system, it will, no matter what file system it is. So over here, we proved that the official one were HDB1 and HDC1 was using ext4 and extxfs, right? And then the replica is also copied over. ext4 and ext5. That's the reason we installed the FXS file system here. I'm sorry, ext4 and extfxs, they're all both copied over here. So this command is very useful because it's going down to the granular level. It's copying over the metadata. That's what it's called. Oh, this is really good, guys. I'm going to put it in here. Okay, so I want to see what's the...
First of all, when you are using TD command, you mentioned the 500 MB size as well.
Yeah, I mean the DD command is primarily used to replicate the disk. But
Yeah.
here we are also using it to create a single file. This is a demo file. But you could use the input file. You could also use it to copy a file. Usually you do the DD command to copy the huge file. We use the CP command to copy a file, right? And if the size of the file is in gigs or terabytes, it is very safe to use a DD command. So whatever it is, I mean, even now the DD command has been there since the start of Linux, about 40 years. It's still being used here. It's very, very good, effective command. And depending on the size, our size was only 2 GB, so it took only not too much time. But if it's a bigger size, obviously it's going to take longer time to do it. But it will do a very good and thorough job. Okay, I like this too. Yeah, I'm going to put it in. But anyway, you got the idea here that the DD command is very efficient here. Okay, so let me just copy. Okay. Okay, so let me put in the example of the copy command here. I'm going to dissect this dd command, okay? Uh, these two examples here, but you get the idea. Once you get the idea, you could use it on your own. Um, input file. Okay, so here you could give the path also, the relative path or the, what is the other path we have? One is relative. What is the other one?
Absolute, sir.
I'm sorry, what?
Absolute, sir.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Okay, all right, so, okay. Can somebody tell me what else we could do with the dd command here? We could copy one disk to another disk, right? What you could do is you could also copy the operating system file. Now what you're going to use is you could copy this file here. This is usually SDA. Is usually SDA.
So, for example, when we are saying that we are copying entire disk, so whatever it is, that will be copied, right? So,
Exactly.
operating system or any other data, we are making a exact replica of that, right?
Exactly.
So, it is not really, we are not copying operating system or we are not copying data. It is even lower level to that. So, we are copying bytes by bytes. So, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I put down here as disk duplicate.
Yeah.
Is going to do a duplicate here. So what will happen if you copy SDA to another disk? What will happen?
Everything, whatever in SDA, whether it's a partition, even formatting or file
Exactly.
system, everything will be copied.
Exactly. Exactly. Very good. So what I did is I have already copied one here. This one here, I think I copied it here. So what I did was I made a replica of this to SDE here. Okay, let me turn that on. Oh, did I turn it on? No. Okay. All right. So okay, it's 107 here.
Zafar, I didn't change the IP.
Yeah, it didn't now. Now it should. Oh, the numlock was off. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so df-h. So what I have did on this system here is, the size is about 16 GB. So what I did was I went ahead and copied the SDA to, I had copied SDA here to SDE here. This is an exact replica of this here. So what we could do is, you could go into the folder. So here, what you could do is you go in here and network, storage, and E, and you look at where this file is at. SDE is a VDI file. Okay, what is VDI file? Okay, VDI is a VDI stands for virtual disk infrastructure. So this is not specific to VirtualBox. It's open source. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go in here in this location, and then I'm going to copy. I'm going to spin up a new machine, Red Hat. So I'm going to create a Red Hat box here using the VDI here. So I have an option here. Okay, so use the existing virtual disk, and then I'm going to browse it. I'm going to put it in here because I copied it already, and choose. Okay, so you could do not attach a virtual hard disk at this moment. You could do that later. Okay, so you come in here, settings, you go into storage, and then there is nothing in here. And what you could do is add a virtual disk. Choose the existing disk.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear anything.
Anybody else could hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay. Red Hat 7.
Thank you.
SDE. It's not 8 GB. It's okay. Let's choose this. Okay, I think it's running on this system here, right? So you have to remove it. You have to shut down the system. It's not this one here. Hmm? So what I'm going to do is, it's attached to the system I copied it. So I'm going to remove that disk from there. Is it off? Okay, it's powered off. So I'm going to, SDE is the one I copied, right? So I'm going to remove it. So I haven't deleted it, but only thing I did was I removed it. And storage, SDE. Okay. So this is matching, so it's the correct one I selected. And I'm going to start it up. Okay. So what can somebody explain me what is happening here?
So it's going through the the boot sequence. Um, so from the MBR, the boots
Yeah,
from stage one, stage two to the kernel, and is booting all your the run level and everything.
Good. So, but what else we did here is we just cloned this machine to this machine here. So we have two machines here. We just cloned it using the DD command. Why is it working here? Because we used the DD command to clone the in other words, you call it an image here. If it's in a smaller environment, you could use the DD command here. But the only reason I showed you this reason is you could also use it to create your own VDI and carry along with you. You don't have to use the whole operating system. So if you are on a different system and you really want to keep this what you have in here, all you have to do is copy around, go in here and find out which is this and copy it.
Zafar, we can't hear you.
We can. I think there's a problem on your local side.
Mazhar, can you hear me clearly though?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, and I was hearing two other gentlemen as well.
Okay.
Right. I can hear you guys, but I can't hear Zafar.
Yeah, Mazhar could hear me, right?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah, I can hear you. If I want to maybe restart your WebEx, maybe.
Yeah. I'll pause for a minute and you could restart. Are you back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I just restarted my WebEx.
Okay, great.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay. So the DD command is a powerful tool. What it's doing here is doing the same exact replica, and you could I just proved it here that it created it even created the replica of operating system, which you could take that copy of a snapshot and then put it onto the another machine, and it's working just fine here. Okay, this is what it is. Okay, all right. So I'm going to clean this up, this document a bit more when I officially post it. But this is what this is good for. You could who asked if you could do it on Windows machine too, Windows disk? You could definitely try it out and let me know.
I asked that, so I think there would be a bit configuration or challenge. We can copy the
No, it won't be, because what you do is you just um,
No, my question was the challenge would be on Windows side when we are adding that Windows disk to another box, how it will boot, etc. So
no, it's easy. I mean, all you have to do is figure out which disk is this,
okay.
and then oh no, you have to attach Windows disk separately as a secondary disk, not as a main disk, because Windows can't run disk here. So you're taking this Windows disk here, and then you are attaching it to the Linux box, and it will do exact replica of it.
Yep.
Okay, good. So we have another 20 minutes here. So next topic I'm going to cover is easy, but it's easy, but I'm not going to cover too much of it today, but I'll continue on tomorrow also. But let me get started with it. Give me 1 second here. So the next topic is SSH. SSH. So what it stands for? Secure. Okay, so we have one concept here, like connecting from one machine to another machine. You could, in Windows, connecting from one machine to another machine, what is it called? RDP, right? We use SSH is used to connect from Linux host to another Linux host. Similar to RDP in Windows. You guys use RDP in Windows, right? Anybody?
I don't know. I
In
Yes,
Windows, if you type RDP,
Yeah, remote desktop, right?
yeah, remote desktop connection. And in here, this thing comes up, and then and then you could type either the machine name or the IP address here. Okay, let's see here. I have it. I had another machine on my network here. If I type ping BZMPT0001 and I hit enter, it should give me the IP address here. Oh, I don't know why it's not giving me the right IP address.
think even within this home network, there are certain firewalls things which need to be disabled on the target.
Yeah. Mm. Okay, whatever it is, we'll figure it out here. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it
but
works
I have.
basically. So
That was
I have
IP
one
was
server.
you
Go
can
ahead.
ping it with the hyphen F or 4 on the end of the host name. Go back to the ping.
Ping. F.
Is hyphen 4. No, just 4. Hyphen 4.
4.
Yeah.
Because it's for IPv4.
Yeah.
It's not coming. Maybe here.
No, you should be at the end of the is that the correct host name? ZBZMT01. Ping without the hyphen. Now do same thing with the. Oh, this one is the MAC address. It's not even getting an IP.
Yeah, but it's online. So you could connect using the host name.
Okay.
So I've connected to another machine that's loading the desktop. You have done this. If you worked in a desktop environment, a Windows environment, you know what I'm doing here. So, or you could literally control somebody else's desktop here, and then you have the full access to the another system here. So that's Windows here. Okay.
yeah, desktop support people do this always, but
Yeah, that's how I think.
So if you have any issue, they will ask you to give them access, and then they will work.
Yes. Very good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use Secure Shell to connect from one system to another system here. So we have two systems up here. So let me just say here. So we have one system here which is 106 and this one is 107. So this is 10. This is 107 here, right? No? Oh, it's not showing. So I think I shut that one down here. Okay, so I have this system running and I want to connect to this system here. So this system, it's using 10.0.2.15. Okay, don't worry about this IP address here because we didn't configure this here much. So, but I think it's using NAT. Yeah, it's using NAT automatically, which is good. So right now I'm in this system here. Okay, I'm in this system here, which is 10.0.2.15. And I want to connect to this system here, which is another system. And that system could be anywhere in the world. Okay, this system is anywhere in the world here, the one on the left. So how am I going to do that? It's pretty simple here. All you have to type is SSH and then the IP address or the host name. 192.168.56.106 and hit enter. And it's telling you, are you sure you want to continue? Yes. Okay. Oh, I have to type yes. And then it's asking for the password here. Okay, so let's see IP address. So I'm in from one system, I'm into another system here right now. So why is this important here? At work, you're not going to connect to, at work you won't connect to the production system directly. Or any system. So what you have to do is from your laptop or from your working desktop, you connect to a host which is called a bastion. Okay, so the bastion host is actually a okay, so it's actually into the security group here. From you connect from your bastion host, and from there you connect to the production environment. Okay. Okay, so let's see here.
Some company called it jump box.
Jump box, exactly. Very good. So it's called jump box. I think in Windows environment it's called jump box too. Okay, why this is for? Why are you doing this here? It's for this is for security and also for DNS resolution.
More importantly, it is for data security. So
yeah,
we can put restrictions so data will not leave that jump box basically.
Yeah. So what is happening is it's under the two subnets here. One is public and another is private. If you're trying, even within your company, if you're trying to connect directly to this box here, it may or may not work. Most of the time, it doesn't work.
It will not be accessible to the users. For data center people, it is, but not for the users.
Yeah, users in the sense admins, even admins.
Yeah.
You have to connect from here to this box, and then as a admin user, you need to. This box will have. You will have in your profile access to this box here. From once you get in here from there, then you could connect to this boxes here, and you have full information here. But what this box does is it's tracking who's connecting, when are you connecting, and all that information is saved here. Okay, so it's actually within a security group.
Yeah. the flip side is it makes production support, especially from operating system perspective, it's very difficult. When some people ask for logs, etc., it's very difficult for application support team to copy the logs, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
It's slow down.
Application support team, they don't have root access, so they have some access here, but automatically they don't have sudo access. Most of the time, all they could do is they work on their own. So that's why I'm saying, if once you have a root access, then you have information to almost everything here. You could even kick out at application team, network team, and what else we have? Your storage team, and even your manager. If you see in there, you could kick him out, but he will call you. So this is why you use secure shell here. It's simple, ridiculous, nothing else. Here, or all you have to do is you use it, you type the command SSH here. Now that you are in there, your previous history commands is in the different box here. So you are in a totally different box here. How do you exit out of here? You just type exit, and you type IP. So you were previously in 106. Now we are back to 10. Oh. Are we in 106 still?
No, it clearly says that the connection closed.
Yeah. So maybe exit again. Close itself completely. So let's see here. Oh, I never connected to this here. So I was just looping in here. Okay. So let me demo it properly. So I'm going to connect to 10.10.0.2.15. Probably won't allow me because it's on a different network, isn't it?
If it is public network, it should allow. It seems like 10.8 is a public network, maybe AWS or something.
No, that one is coming from my router here. It's not local, because this is not only host-only adapter here. So let's get rid of this here, okay? I'm going to just power it off here. Okay, so this was the demo here. So this one is running, and let me power this up. Okay, so this should work. So right now I'm into this box 6.9, Red Hat 6. I'm into that box here. So what I'm going to connect is I'm going to connect to the box that says Red Hat 7. So how do? I collect the IP address. Okay, so the IP address is 107 here. So what I'm going to do is, right now I'm in 6, the one on the top, and then I'm going to connect on the one on the bottom here. So simple. SSH, all you have to type is 192.168.56.107. And then you type yes, and then you type Red Hat, and voila. You are into this another box here, which is 107. Okay. All right. Let's see if we are able to connect using the host name here. DNS is not set up, but we'll try. Most of the time, I use connecting using the host name because IP address you could mistype it. The host name you have all the list here. You copied from the ticket that they are telling you. So yeah. Right now it's not going to work, but once we set up a DNS, it should work using the host name also. Even ping won't work. Yeah, it won't work because DNS is not set up here. That's a big old topic I will cover later on. But at this moment, what you're using is you're connecting from one place to one server to another server using a secure shell. Okay, you will be using this every day. Every day. There won't be a day you won't be using it. So connecting from one box to another box, and this is the functionality you have for secure shell. Okay, I think I covered too much today. Any questions so far? We have 3 more minutes here. Anybody any questions? Let me know.
So for the DD command, you have to be on that same machine, right, to replicate the disk. You can't use like SSH. You log into another machine and use that DD command. You can't do that, right?
If you're using, if you're over here, I suppose if you're using the copy command, you could use that as a copy. But for the disk copy, to duplicate a disk, you probably have to be on the same place. But that's a really good question here. Try copying, doing this as a file from one server to another server. But I mean, there is a lot more to cover before you are able to use that command.
Okay.
I think the question is if we can use SSH to copy disk from the remote servers to the local server. Is that the question?
Kind of, yeah. So like basically, if you actually Zafar he said a good where so like how to copy one disk from to another disk on a different server. So that was my question.
No,
It is. I'm pretty sure it's possible, and if you have a network bandwidth here. But remember, SDA1 and SDAE is nothing but still a file. This is still a file. It's doing nothing but a file copy.
Right.
Also, Zafar, I don't think SSH protocol will let you do that because SSH protocol is meant for the connectivity between servers, not the data transfer. So if we need to run the DD command, we can run the DD command on the remote server, but the disk should be local to the remote server. We can copy disk to disk, and both disks should be attached to the server where the command is being run.
So DD command, it's telling you input file is you're giving the place here. It doesn't have to be this exact place here. It could be a remote. You could try it on here. If you want to copy the file from the remote here, then we could use the SCP command here. Actually there is a SCP command here, but that is very interesting here. But if you type DD and then the source file is, you could type the IP address and then the location and everything and copy it, and then you could copy in your location, you type dot. or you could type it to. There is a lot of things you could do here. Honestly, I never tried that, but I don't need to, because most of the time in a bigger environment there is a dedicated storage team that are day in and day out. All they do is do the backups and make sure everything is in place if we lose all that data. And there is one more thing that's going on. Every twice a year you will have a DR, disaster recovery. So they purposely crash system on purpose, and then I try to recover it and test um, your internal architecture or your internal infrastructure, how things are going to work out in a disaster. But that's a really good question here. If you have time, you could test it out and let me know. But for you to be able to copy it from another host to this host or run the command remotely, you could definitely do that. But we have to wait for a couple other sessions before you could really try that out. But if you find something on the internet, go ahead and try it. So in here, clearly it says the source, this is the source, and this is the destination. So I'm pretty sure the source could be remote, and destination could be remote too. All right, I'm going to end here. Any questions, put it in the chat, and tomorrow I'm going to start right on time. That way I will pick up any missed hours or a missed day here. I think I will miss another day next month, probably Saturday also, probably Sunday next. Sunday, the July 7th won't be a class because I'm flying that day. So. All right, guys. Once this video is ready, I'll upload it and I'll put it in the chat. Okay.
Thank you, Zafar.
All right, sir.